When I hear the word cello, I see my own cello, and then I hear the sound of my own cello, and it's something that I've lived with since I was 5 years, and it's been such a companion that I don't really feel any distance between the word cello and myself. I guess it's just so much a part of who I am, who any cellist is. Actually, my mother introduced me to, apparently, I don't remember this, but she says that she introduced me to the cello when I was 4. And the teacher that later turned out to be my cello teacher was giving a class to a group of kids roughly my age. And I wouldn't go near it, and I was crying to even be in the room, and she was very sad because she thought I was her third and last child, that she would never have a musician child. And then a year later I heard a recording of the third Bach suite. It's just a C major Bach suite, and I asked my mother whether there's something wrong with me, because when I hear that music, that my eyes water and my eyes tear, and she thought maybe now is the time to reintroduce him to the cello. And then at 5 I started having lessons. I mean, times are always sort of hard, you know, as a musician, as an artist. It's every day, I guess, we feel as good as our last concert went, and but that only is an inspiration and motivation for the next concert. I think it's almost because it's so difficult that we keep going all the time. I think if it at any point was easy, I think it'd be difficult to keep it up, because you have to put in so much, not just time, but you have to suffer so much for it, that if it wouldn't be difficult, you wouldn't be able to do that anymore. This is a Gofriller built in Venice in 1693. Gofriller he started the Venetian school, and this used to belong to Leonard Elschenbroich, who's a very famous American cellist. And I've had this now for 10 years. I was 19 when I got this on loan, and I fell in love with this cello as soon as I saw it, as soon as I played the first few notes on it. Even though it was probably sounding very different at the time, given the different setup and everything, there is a color or a frequency that every instrument has, that it just has, and you can't change that. And I immediately felt that this was the cello for me. One of the things about playing Vivaldi is that we as soloists get to play without a conductor, so we're conductor and soloist at the same time, and it's really a thrill to be in charge of the whole group from the cello, without having to have someone in between that translates what we do to the orchestra. Obviously you play with a smaller group, so there's not as many people that need to be informed of, you know, where the music's going, and therefore it's possible to do it from the cello, and that is more responsibility, but it's really a thrilling experience and a very direct contact with the musicians around you. And the virtuosity and the imagination and just the richness of ideas and variety that Vivaldi has with such limited means, essentially harmonically and structurally such a small framework that composers dealt with at that time, how much variety he manages still to find. In Vivaldi's time, you would only be using the cello really pretty much in the first position all the time, maybe go up to here, and the fingerboard was only about maybe this long, because nobody would ever play up here. And then quite soon after that, well, certainly Haydn, and even before that, Boccherini, maybe Boccherini was the first to explore a higher position, and the use of the thumb as a playing finger rather than a support finger. So once you have the thumb here, you then have, first of all, you have 5 fingers, and you can kind of create a new, almost like an open string with your thumb, and then have these fingers. and then Boccherini would be able to use the whole scope of the instrument. And then, of course, later, some composers took that to an extreme where you're playing at the edge of the string, and nowadays and then, of course, we started using different parts of the instrument and making use of all the options you have to make sound. But in those days, it was pretty much all here, and still the amount of variety and virtuosity that comes out of that is endless. Maybe first movement of Brahms' E minor sonata. That's one of the first major pieces I learned, and I feel every time I play it that I connect. It sort of binds my whole cello life together. I feel like I connect with all the different ages of my own experience of playing when I play the Brahms.